I want to talk just briefly this morning about I stumbled across a picture this morning or yesterday on Facebook, and I saw it again this morning. It's just sort of like about the state of our industry is kind of the point of it. And it reminded me of a painting that I really love that I want to get into in a second. But first, let me share with you the one that you've probably seen floating around on social media a little bit. And let me share it. It is dun, 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 right there. Can y'all see that? So it looks like the Monopoly Man. That's the first thing I thought when I saw this picture. But the guy on the left is painting a picture of his perspective on what he sees out there. He sees the bars. He sees the fact that he is stuck in this prison cell. And the guy on the right sees his perspective, which is the scene beyond the bars, the trees, the sun, the birds. And it reminded me of one of my favorite paintings. You've probably seen in my office, in my last office that I had up that it's a painting by a Russian painter named Nikolai Yuroshenko. And if you have been around me long enough, you've probably heard me talk about one of my favorite books ever called Life with a Capital L by Matt Hurd. And in that book, he talks about this painting that I'll pull up next year. And the painting is called Life is Everywhere, Nikolai Yuroshenko. And it very similarly is of a prison car, most likely taking people to some sort of debtor's prison where they will spend a long time because of their debts. And you have these people in the front of this car that are enjoying these birds and feeding these birds and finding life. Again, the painting is called Life is Everywhere. They're finding life in this season. But also in the back here, you might have missed him, but Nikolai Yuroshenko assuredly wanted you to see this guy in the back that's not taking part in the experience here. He's looking out of this dreary back window there and not necessarily engaging with the joy that the people in front. Like how happy these people are in the midst of a pretty desperate situation. They're finding life. They're finding joy. And you can tell, of course, by what he chose to call the painting, Life is Everywhere, that he intended to demonstrate that they are finding life, that they are choosing to find some sort of joy here in this. And that's his point. And I think that's very true in our industry today, especially today, as we are, I think in one of the most challenging seasons we've had in this industry. There is an option. We have the option of a perspective right now that finds opportunity, that finds the value in this industry, or we can be pretty discouraged right now on what's going on. So I was thinking about that this morning, and I asked myself, what are the biggest complaints right now? Like, what have we been complaining about for years as an industry, right? And I think there's three things that we've been complaining about the most in the last several years as agents, and that is not enough inventory, too many agents, and the agents that we do have here are half of them are terrible. That's what you've heard said a lot in the last couple of years, right? Can anybody resonate with those three complaints? And you maybe have made some of them yourself. Too many or not enough inventory, too many agents, and half the agents that we have are, kind of so-so. Maybe they're not even that committed to the industry. Maybe they're just kind of stumbling upon a deal or two here and there and difficult to work with and not doing right by their clients and just a challenge. Maybe you've seen that. We've heard those complaints a lot. And so my suggestion this morning is that with a perspective shift, we see all three of those very differently right now. The first thing we see is that inventory count is increasing quickly. I mean, this is the first time in 4 years that we haven't really been able to complain about lack of inventory. Now, you still hear it a lot. That just means those people have no idea what's going on. But let's look at, just for fun, we'll look at the Denver metro area, but we could do the same example nationwide. Any market will show us the same picture, but let's just look at the inventory situation in Denver real fast. And so here's the Denver inventory right now. This is 2022 at this point. We had about 3,200 units. Okay, this is attached and detached in the Denver metro area. On 2021, we were about 3,600. And last year, we were at 5,500. And today, we're sitting at about 6,200, almost double from where we were in 2022, about 3,300 to about 6,200, pretty close to double. The inventory complaint is not valid, not right now. And you see the same thing across the country. We are seeing the inventory count skyrocket. And, the message for consumers in that, I would say, a good message for a consumer, especially a second homeowner or an absentee owner or an accidental landlord, which we're seeing a ton of right now, is that inventory is increasing quickly. And selling today compared to waiting 3 to 6 months could make a big difference. But the biggest challenge we've seen recently is that people aren't moving. People aren't putting their homes in the market because they have nowhere to go. And so what we're starting to see is sellers are looking around saying, well, actually, I see a lot of things I would be interested in now. So maybe we should get the home on the market, and then I'll go buy that one. And then that seller will sell that one and they'll go buy that one. And it alleviates this giant log jam that we've had that is caused almost entirely by lack of inventory. And so what we're starting to see is that people are more and more comfortable with accepting the fact that where rates are, seeing things that they actually like that they would go move to, and choosing to jump in. So that's the first one is the lack of inventory. Number two was the complaint about too many agents. And we're definitely seeing a decrease in agent count, leaving more for you and me. The full-time professionals that stick around have more opportunity to share among fewer of us, which can be great news for you. What's the message for the consumer? I would say it is that it's more important than ever that you hire a full-time professional with a strong marketing plan if it's a listing, or a strong game plan to find you that perfect home if it's a buyer, and a really solid negotiation track record. Somebody that is a full-time professional in the industry, that is great at their job and that is committed to you and to your success. I think that's probably more important today than ever. And then the third one was that, half the agents we're seeing out there maybe are not all that professional or committed to their craft in general. And the bar is definitely being raised on the real estate professional. This settlement by NAR basically requires agents to shape up or ship out. And we can help each other shape up. Absolutely. This is bad news for the solo part-timer that stumbles into a couple deals a year. And it's great for full-time professionals like us that offer actual value, that have to show up to the table with value to demonstrate to the consumer. The consumer is now more likely to ask for that value. There's not this assumption of, well, I like that person, they're fine, I'll work with them because they're, my cousin's neighbor and they have a license, so I might as well. The consumer is now being told you need to be expecting value. And so for us, it's great news because we have value to demonstrate and we actually can show it now. They want to know now, as opposed to in the past where there might have been more of an assumption that it might not has mattered as much. So, and I think that the message to the consumer is similar as the one we just talked about, that it is more important now than ever that we care about that. So, the reality is right now, the people that are going to succeed in this industry in this season, which is a tighter season, a more challenging season, it's the people in the front of the car playing with those birds. It's the people that are looking for the opportunity, looking for the life, finding value in the season, and not the people tucked away in the back of the car saying, this sucks, I don't like this, I might go get another job, I think that the industry's done, nobody's going to hire agents anymore. It's just not true. And I realize that you might want to feel like it's true because it helps you cope and it helps you not get down on yourself for not succeeding. But the reality is there is a lot of transactions happening right now. There's a lot of opportunity for the people that are choosing to be the front of the car people, looking out that window. So there you go. Hope that's encouraging. I hope that if nothing else, that you are more likely today to look out the front of that car and say, you know what, there is a lot of benefit in this season because inventory is rising, which leads to more transactions. Agent count is decreasing, which means more opportunity for a few of us to split up. And the bar is being raised on the professionalism for both myself and for everybody else that I work with in this industry. So there you go. Hope that's helpful.